So I've been watching a lot of Netflix lately, and I'm not talking about the shows, I'm talking about the stock. And I was rewarded pretty handsomely for going ahead and purchasing an option contract in Netflix. And I want to take a second and talk about a profitable trade. I'm going to show it to you in a few minutes. And if you've been watching my videos, my tutorial series on options trading, I've been using this option contract that I bought to go ahead and explain some of the Greek letters. So make sure to check that out. But what I really wanted to talk about is locking in profits during this time in the markets where there's a bear market. There's a lot of turmoil. There's likely a lot more speed bumps ahead and a lot more headwinds than tailwinds coming up on the macro level and the micro level for a lot of these growth stocks and even value plays. And I'm sitting on a 200% profit on a Netflix option. I'm going to show you exactly what trade I made, why I made it, and why today, even though this can grow quite a lot, I have 2 more months until expiration, I went ahead and closed out the position. Because now more than ever, if in a week's time you're making 200% plus on a trade, you have to lock in the profits. Now, sure, there's going to be FOMO. Like, what happens if Netflix exceeds $300? What happens if it keeps running to $320? This is all stuff that you have to be okay with living with and locking in your profits. Me personally, I have a huge chunk of my money just sitting in a bank account. I'm accumulating cash because I don't think that we've reached the bottom of this bear market yet, of these sell-offs. I think we're going to be able to get a lot more stuff at much more delicious prices, both on the stock side and the crypto side. So what am I doing? I'm working really, really hard in the daytime business. I'm locking in profits when I can. And thankfully, with this Netflix option, I was able to lock in a profit. And I'm going to show you why options trading is so amazing and can generate tremendous amounts of profits by just leveraging a little bit of money. And again, me personally, during times like these, I love options because I don't have to have a huge chunk of my money tied up in stocks. Now, sure, options are risky and some of them can go down in like 50% value. Some of them can expire worthless. I never really allow them to do that. However, options is not the easiest thing. You have to educate yourself. You have to learn the markets. You have to understand all the factors involved in an options trade, when it's favorable, when it's unfavorable. But if you keep studying, you keep learning, you keep researching, I'm a firm believer that you could turn the odds in your favor. It doesn't mean you're going to win every single time, but it sure does mean that you're going to win more than 50% of the time. At least I find that's how my trading journey has been. So without further ado, let me show you this trade that I'm really, really excited by, because finally I was able to lock in a profitable trade and make a video about it again. It feels like 2020 all over again. So here we go. Let me know what you think in the comments. So I want to show you guys the power of options and how profitable trades can actually be, especially percentage-wise. Take a look here. I purchased this long call option on Netflix because I had bullish sentiments about where the underlying asset, which is Netflix, price would go. And so I purchased it to expire in December 16th of 2022. That gives me a whole 2 more months to be correct about my sentiments and conviction, and it happened sooner rather than later. And I did this on purpose because I knew that earnings were coming out. I did my research, and I had conviction that they're going to spring up. They've been beaten down into oblivion, and that's exactly what happened. As you see here, the contract is for a $265 call option. Now, currently Netflix is trading at around $274, $273. This means that this call option is now in the money. However, this total value of it, this $2,960, most of this is extrinsic value because there's 2 more months of potentially amazing profits, and that's built in here. But take a look at this. Netflix grew only 14% today in share value. However, my option appreciated over 77%. And that is the power of options. You are able to leverage a small amount of money in order to win big gains. But you can also lose everything you paid for on the contract if you hold it to expiration and it expires worthless. So let's take a look at what's happening. I'm basically making 200% total gain on my initial investment of just $1,000. Now, back in the day, I used to be a little more risky. I used to spend a lot more on contracts. Sometimes I'd be right, I make a whole lot of money, but when I was wrong, I get wiped out. Now I'm a little more conservative. I work real hard for my money. I know that it's a bear market. There is likely a lot more bad news coming in the markets, and so I'm being a little bit more careful. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to close out this position, take this $2,000 gain, take my $1,000 back, and leave the table of options with $3,000, $2,000 of them being a profit. In this day and age, when you are churning a profits of 200%, especially if it comes within a week or week and a half of buying the option contract, I personally lock in my profits because it's a very unstable market. And although this looks good and Netflix reported amazing earnings, subscription growth very, very easily, this can erode profits in just a couple of days. And if a couple of days go badly, and it even has nothing to do with Netflix, if the market crashes 4 or 5%, this will be a negative number really, really quickly. And so again, I'm not going to dive deep into the fundamentals or technicals of Netflix. I just wanted to point out the power, percentage-wise, of options contracts versus just holding the stock. Because if you think of this trade, when I made it, Netflix was trading at around $225 or something like that. I would have to invest like $20,000 in order to see this return based on the percentage that Netflix stock price rose. But I was just able to leverage it for $1,000. However, I'm basically renting the position for $1,000 because it expires at a certain point. And that point is December 16th. And if I wasn't proven right by then, I would have likely lost a whole chunk. Now, I never wait for my options contracts to go to zero. That's very rare. Usually, if it drops half in value, I sell. But in this case, I was able to make a nice profit. I'm happy about it. Let me know in the comment section, if you were in my position, would you have closed out this position, or would you have sat on it because you're expecting for Netflix to keep climbing and perhaps close that gap where it was trading at around $325, $350 before it fell like a hot rock through the floor? So let me know what you think of this trade that I made. Let me know what you think Netflix is going to do next, and let me know which options trading tutorial you wish for me to cover next, because I'm getting deep into options and I have a whole bunch of lineup of videos that are tutorials that are going to help you and hopefully me out as well. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys for watching this video in its entirety. I'll see you in the next one.